If you build it, really.
I've never missed the song yet. I'm a team. I'm not pretty yet.
Oh, sorry. Good, you.
And I bet I stopped it for all.
Well, I can make my stuff. You're talking about computer printers?
The printer,
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
will
Let's
not.
unite everyone.
Yeah.
But that was funny, yeah.
Right, it's like literally.
It was funny.
Leap up, throw the laptop in the
I have my.
That's a good reason.
I never get.
Unless there's sun.
Sun kissed.
Huh?
Sun kissed, not sunburned. I was very careful.
You look healthy.
Yeah. It was a great attitude adjuster, being in the sun for a week.
Yeah, big difference.
Yes. Yes, we wouldn't know.
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, it was here. It was here.
John has some color too.
Made a brief visit.
This weekend it's supposed to be there.
Then back down, chilly again.
Really?
Oh, yeah, just like extended forecast. Yeah. Back in the 40s.
Back in the 40s.
Like, it was a high.
I love this place.
So unique.
We're sitting back here, right?
Yeah.
Winter that won't quit.
Record low for attendance this year.
Scintillating agenda. I forgot about it.
No one has a cod lighter chiller replacement. Oh, wait, no. No one has a counter variant.
Yeah.
You died.
Careful.
We're saving money on that one, so. Yeah, Jim is joining us by Zoom. As he's not in town.
Still on vacation?
Workcation.
Workation.
Coming back on Friday, though.
Oh, I heard it. We weren't talking about you, Jim.
I heard that.
I think it's close enough to 7 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order, please. All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Yeah, Matt Rivera,
I'm here.
John Leo,
Here.
Nancy Rondell,
Here,
Al Dyke,
Here.
and John Cox. You have a quorum.
Public comment, anything this evening? It's not on the agenda?
I'm not on the agenda.
Okay.
My name's Don Mapes. I just came to introduce myself tonight. I'm running for District 3 Commissioner, County Commissioner. Been a resident of Emmett County for 42 years. 38 and a half years was given to Emmett County, running and operating recycling center transfer station. Retired in 2018, wondering what I was going to do next. And so I started attending meetings, and I want to compliment you folks on your attendance. There's been a couple of county meetings I've been to that are less, whole lot less participated in. And that got me just interested in county government. I have no county experience, no government experience. A lot of encouragement from people tell me I've got the temperament. I do have the qualifications of leadership and management. I'm sort of cramming at the moment. This is I just put my papers in a couple of weeks ago, so this is my first official meeting as a candidate. I'm not running for any particular reason. The incumbent, I think, is doing a great job. But I just got the idea, I thought that he probably just needed a little competition once in a while. So I threw my name in the hat. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to show up and let you folks know who I am and why I'm here. And hopefully you'll see a lot more of me.
What does District 3 cover?
I'm finding out that it's starting on this end, it's Harbor Point, Weekly, City of Harbor Springs, Little Traverse Township, a portion of Little Traverse Township, and zone through Section 3 of Bear Creek.
Yep. So you're running against Charlie.
Yes. Hopefully, maybe not, I don't know. The deadline's tomorrow, so we'll see. Perfect. So if any of you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, I'll be available at the end of the meeting or no.
It'd be nice to get some new blood in there, hopefully.
Pardon?
Be nice to have some new blood over there, hopefully.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, you know.
I agree. Competition is good.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Good luck. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Well, Linda Rockwitz, 519 East 3rd Street. I'll just do it once tonight. I'm happy to let you know that we have a group of great folks meeting and organizing to help pass the heavy override millage in August. And almost everybody except this gentleman and the employees are on it. So that you can tell how they're a great group. Lots of good ideas, lots of enthusiasm. We are planning a word of mouth campaign, starting with a pyramid structure. We'll go out and enlist as many advocates as we can find and encourage them to enlist as many as they can find, and on and on. And we will have lots of letters in the paper, answering some of the frequently asked questions, giving our simple explanations of what Headley will do. And that's what we have organized so far. We don't have a name. We've tried out Headley Override Proponents, and then we would be HOP, or Headley Override Group, and we'd be HOG, or, but we're working on that. And it's just a joy to work with these folks. I really am the weak link in the organization. But I want to thank Nick and Victor and Jeff. I show up at the little window and say, Jeff, Nick, can you come out? Poor Nick has had to answer the same question for me about 4 times before I can repeat it back to the answer to him in my own words. So, but I'm very enthused about this. I'm very optimistic. The feedback I've had from outside the group has been very positive. I haven't had any negative. although somebody pointed out, maybe they're not back in town yet, but I haven't had, it's so far so good. I'm really happy.
Thank you for the effort.
Thanks, Linda.
Real quick, today was our first day of school resource officer, and Officer Swiss was at the school, and we found a bullet in one of the classrooms, and he was happened to be in that school at that time, and so Michael and I walked in and we got resolved in a matter of about 15 minutes. So I know we could have done it probably without that, but that connection of just having him right there, right then, it took care of it, and today was the first day. So hopefully, I appreciate your support on that, and I think it's a good thing. So he started out this morning at Blackbird, greeting the kids coming to school. He hit every school today, and then we had that incident. Like I said, it was resolved. We were almost ready to lock the school down, and we got resolved like that. So just thank you for your support.
He seems really excited
He
about
is.
doing that job.
He's working very hard, and preparing for it, and just, we got some training that he's gonna be going to, but thank you.
I have to ask, they found a bullet?
Yeah, it was
How do you
an
just
accident.
find a bullet?
It was an accident, that happened. Some young man was doing some target practicing, had it happen in his pocket and fell out, and so we just got it like that, so
Okay.
it was good.
Wow.
I like the old days.
We used to bring guns to school,
Like I said, they used to be hanging up in the back of the pickup. Hey, check what I bought last week.
All right.
All right.
Anyone online? Is anyone online on Zoom that has a public comment? Or something that's not on the agenda? You can unmute yourself. We did have one public comment via email. I'm sure you read that, so. All right,
Okay.
Let's move right into the consent agenda. Issues at the table.
I think so.
Then we have to ask the public if there's any issues with the consent agenda. None?
I didn't find anything with it. I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Nancy Rondell,
Yes.
John Cops,
Yes.
Matt O'Gara,
Yes.
Al Dyke,
Yes.
and John Leo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Quick question to council on the consent agenda. The way I've been, obviously with the mayor, putting items on the agenda, it's been, we've been doing this for almost a year now. I'm just wondering, how's it going? Is it, you like the way we're doing it? Is there?
I think it works really well.
Yeah,
Agree.
yeah, that's good.
It's a hit or miss sometimes.
So we should include more information about the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slack.
153 pages worth of.
See, but like 70 was a master plan, so, which is the next, well, no, let me get there. Yeah, the next topic. Okay. Master plan, we've been working on this for at least 2 years now. We started around the time COVID started. We're talking about starting it before then as well. Through that process, we have 8 new planning commission members, essentially. So in those 2 years, we have a complete new board. So getting them up to speed on the planning commission, on the master plan update process was just part of the obstacle, and along with COVID, be able to get public input. So both of those were obstacles, but 2 years later, going to 2 meetings a month, we managed to, as Al can attest to get a good amount of work done and the constraints that we had. The planning commission reviewed and approved the master plan with a few changes that were brought up at the public meeting and for council adoption. There's some reorganization of the master plan. We put the background analysis at the end, all the data, all the information at the end of the plan, and put the goals and objectives in front, because that's really what the master plan is for, is where we're headed, what are our goals. We reduced a little bit of emphasis on parks and recreation because we're going to have a separate parks plan for that. We increased emphasis on housing issues and a little bit on energy and infrastructure issues. So we kept many of the goals the same based on public surveys, but we also added some goals and changed some goals around compared to the old one. Part of this process now as a council, after reviewing the plan, you can choose to adopt the plan as is. If you have any minor edits, such as, grammatical or small things, those could just easily be taken care of in-house and we could still approve it. But if there's some major changes, that would have to then go back to the planning commission and potentially for another public hearing. We'd have to notify. So not to say which way I recommend based on planning commission's recommendation approve, I recommend approve, but it's your guys' to adopt. So that's where we're at.
Try to make some changes. A lot of work went into it, and I'm good with where it's at right now. It's a big piece of work. Work in progress. And after tonight. Hopefully.
Yeah, and as Bill Mulder, planning chair, can tell you, our goal right now is once this is adopted is to start working on look at some of the goals that are higher priority and try to focus on those. Some of those include housing, creating a mission vision statement, short-term rentals is still on the table, making changes to our zoning code because that needs to be updated to align with the master plan. And to go off of this, even though it's indirectly related, we are going through the interview process for planning consultant, to have a new planning consultant, and we hopefully will have that done in the next week or so, figured out. We have a lot of applicants, but we have a really strong one. So, it will take this new master plan then to start running now with the zoning code changes based on this new plan. So.
I think that'll help to keep it alive, if you will. So often they just
I agree.
put on a shelf and never looked at truly for years. And I think council also, as well as obviously planning commission and ZBA, needs to be really good about referring to it and using it instead of just ignoring it. So I think, they did a lot of great work. I was at the public hearing, so I spoke my piece there. And I think so it's a good piece of work. I think there's more to be done, but I think a lot of that can be done in the implementation phase that has to come with the changes in zoning. So, yeah, good job.
When the initial effort was launched, there was talk about, how it hadn't really been touched for so long and how we really needed this update. And there was discussion at the planning commission about not just putting it on the shelf for the next 5 years, but keeping it alive and taking a section of it every year to make sure that it's a working document. And when we get to the next 5-year legal requirement or state requirement that it be updated, it's just an ongoing process. There's no milestone to achieve. And if we all use it and refer to it, we'll come up with a punch list of what we like and things that maybe we didn't quite get right and that need to be changed in the future. But again, kudos to all of the people. It was a lot of effort that went into that, a lot of discussion, feedback, and editing. So, and I do really like the fact that objectives are up front and the rest of it's in the back. That's the way it should be.
So we have a resolution that would need to be adopted, and was in your packet. If there's no public comment, I guess we give it that first.
Any public comment? You've all commented already? I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
All right. Like
Yes.
Nancy Randall,
Yes.
Matt Rivera,
Yes.
John Cubs,
Yes.
John Leo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, thank you. And thank you, Planning Commission.
Yes.
The next item B, is an update from our Parks Director. Rachel is going to give an update on some of this year's, an overview of this past year's operations and activities, as well as what's on store for this coming up year. As a reminder, we do have a new Parks Board that we established a few months ago, so they're getting their workload. We're getting their work out of them, I could say that. So Rachel, I got your presentation.
All right. All right, so as Victor said, we established, now a Parks and Recreation Board. As you can see, our members, Daniel Mulder is our chair, Scott Reese is our vice chair, Allison Larson, Susan Clark, John Cubs Jr. is our council representative, and then Josephine Baker is our student representative. The main things we're working on right now is the parks 5-year plan. So our goal is to complete that this summer and have it into city council and then DNR for approval in the fall. So that will be completed by next year. The theme for 2021, 2022, we discussed this quite a bit in our first couple of meetings, is to take stock and inventory of the parks and amenities we already have and improving and maintaining what we have. It's about making the things that we already possess nice for the locals and visitors, and then identifying and prioritizing all of our projects. The projects that we have completed. So these are the 4 park restrooms. No one has seen these yet because they were remodeled after they were closed for the season. So as you can see, this is them before, the women's room and the men's room, and that is the after. So they got completely repainted, epoxy flooring. It makes it easier to mop and keep clean, and new partitions. And they're solid plastic, so they'll last a very long time. And then these are the beach restrooms. Again, you have the women's and the men's, those are remodeled. Restrooms are important. It's one of the things that people judge a community on. Nobody wants to take their, like, think if you go to a restaurant and you go into a like, you're probably not going back to that restaurant. Nobody wants to take their child into a dirty restaurant or restroom to change them, things like that. So now that they are in perfect condition, we will keep them in perfect condition. So the pickleball courts. So this is something Denny, the previous director, was already in the process of working on with our pickleball advisor, and those got completed in late August, early September. So that is a finished project. Kiwanis. Dan Holder and I were here for like a week painting. So we were doing Winterfest and we decided to do a revamp of the building. So we painted everything, deep cleaned it. It's all new LED lights, and the bathrooms were cleaned up a little bit. Artwork. Yeah, we have some donated artwork. Ongoing projects is the Ted Swarthout Skate Park project. We have a total of just over $203,000. We have 3 grants in right now. One of them is not on here, but we have a Petoskey Rotary grant in and a Petoskey Harbor Springs Area Community Foundation grant in for a total of $40,000. We have been approved and gone through the initial review. So we're on to interviews and continuing that process. So we should know in the next month for both of those grants if you're going to receive them.
And Rachel, sorry, what's the total target for
The total target, so we can build the skate park with $350,000. But with the cost of materials and everything fluctuating right now, I feel a lot more comfortable being closer to 400 or over. So. Right. Ongoing projects, the boardwalk, that's a hot topic. We have submitted an Economic Development Administration federal grant. I did email them a week ago. They do not have a timeline at this time for an award. That could change tomorrow and they will update us and I will continue to reach out to them. We're hopeful we'll know this spring and we will continue to search funding options as a top priority for the community. Another ongoing thing we will do this summer is surveying park users. This will help with knowing who is using our parks. It'll help in our master plan and kind of see what park patrons want to see in all of our parks. Events. We did Fall Fest. It was successful. We will continue it for 2022 in Marina Park. We had probably about over 300 people come that day. Of course, it was like a 70-degree day in October, so it was perfect. But we had Skatepark Halloween. This was ran by our skate park director, Nathan Jacks. He did an amazing job. He does it every year. There are bounce houses, BC Pizza helped donate food, games. That was a great event. We had easily over 200 people there. Kiwanis sledding events. We hosted 4 of them. We easily had over 50 to 100 people at all of those events. We had the lights going on the sledding hill. That was really popular. So we will definitely be continuing those for 2023. We had the Easter Head Hunt over the weekend. That was a surprise to me. There were over 100 kids Yeah, I easily could have doubled the amount of eggs. It's okay, everyone left with an egg. But that was at Zorn Park. And the police department came and did their horn. That was exciting. So that was another success that we will be continuing for next year. So the event budget. So as you can see, between Fall Fest, the Skatepark Halloween, and all of the Kiwanis events, and the Easter egg hunt, we totaled almost $12,000 is what we would have spent. But through grants, sponsors, donations, we got just over $8,000. So we only ended up spending $3,420 on all of these events, which I would say is a huge success for how many people attended and how many citizens we made happy throughout the process.
Rachel, what's the MCRJ fund?
That is the Mary Claire Reynolds Joyce Fund to the foundation. I have a list of thank yous.
That's good.
So 2022 goals and programming. So complete Parks Master Plan will be our number one. Funding for Boardwalk will also be, competitive number one. Reinstall Zorn Beach playground equipment in the grassy area of the playground. I'm kind of working with Lucas on that. We do have a donor who is willing to pay for that project. Geese management in all of our waterfront parks. We will be talking about that at our Parks Board meeting tomorrow. Everyone come. Continue fundraising for the 10th Worth Out Skatepark project. We will be installing 2 rain gardens with the Watershed Council using grant funding. That was already in the process when I came with Denny and Victor, but COVID kind of held it up. So we're kind of revamping that. And then explore future ice rink and Kiwanis plan.
And a rain garden is?
A rain garden is kind of like a catch-all for runoff out of a parking lot, if you will. So if there's already like an indent in the land, you create like a rock, like a natural space,
Good.
and it filters the water. Yeah.
Where are those gonna be?
So the plan is to put one by the stadium over here, where it's actually like, you can see where Lucas has kind of cleared it. It's kind of ugly right now. We're gonna beautify that. And then the second one is planned to go up towards the skate park by the Little League. And we're hoping that with the kids using, it's kind of an educational piece as well. So. Pickleball clinics is something I would like to start this summer at the pickleball courts. We're gonna continue with Topo Explorers, partnering with Topo Nexus for the kids, Fall Fest, Skatepark Halloween, Kiwanis sledding, and the exercise classes will also all continue as they did last summer. Social media, we have the Harbor Springs Skatepark Instagram page that is managed by Nate. And then we have a Parks and Rec Facebook page, like us, very exciting. And that is managed by myself. Any questions? I do have a few thank yous just from sponsors and donations that got us to this season. Thank you so much. The Mary Claire Reynolds Joyce Fund, that is through the Petoskey Harbor Springs Area Foundation. Cups Masonry, the Rondell family, the Brown family, Keller Caretaking, Jeff James, Jim Cassidy, Karen Strow, the Molders, the Clark family, and Rocky and Herbert Ice Cream, and then all of our volunteers and board members. Thank you so much.
I also have one comment to add on about the boardwalk. Senator Debbie Stabenow's office reached out saying that they are going to Congress for basically every year they ask their constituents for projects, and then the senators go and advocate on trying to get money for these projects. So I'm submitting hopefully two projects for us: electric substation and the boardwalk, because they focus more on infrastructure, but they also boardwalk is kind of considered infrastructure. So they say it's very low chance to get money, but again, it's just something. Again, if the EDA grant fails, and maybe this will be successful, but anyway, it's just.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel.
Great job.
Well done.
Good job. Good.
Why everyone is here. The chiller. So the chiller is the city hall's air conditioner. 2 years ago, Lucas, basically right, a little bit after I started, Lucas said this thing is failing. It actually broke down a couple times. We had to find some parts and fix it. So It's as old as the building and it needed to be replaced. We had originally a quote from Ballard about a year and a half, Ballard's from about a year and a half ago, about $56,000. They said it was going to cost. So we budgeted that much in our CIP because that's the quote we got. We put it off from last year. You know, we said we're going to not do it. We can try to get one more year out of it. And this year we bid it out. We got 5 bids. We received 5 bids. As you see, they're there. The low bid, it's misleading. It came in as $33,000, but they only had replacing half the chiller, the outside portion and the inside portion. So we discounted their bid because it didn't meet our needs. So next closest one was Mark and Sons, and I think they're out of Charlevoix area. And there was that $38,000, and that's a substantial difference between our $56,000 quote to $38,000. And Lucas did as much investigating as he could into their quotes and asking the questions about, you know, the details. And it's all of these 4 Mark and Sons, Mcrj, Danovitz, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Ballards, they all would be able to do the job equally. So, you know, our recommendation is to go with Mark and Sons as a low bidder. We do have in our purchase and procurement policy, we give, you know, have the ability to give it to a higher bidder if they're local, you know, if they're a Harbor Springs company and they're only differentiated by like 10%. But here, Mcrj is right there in Franklin Park, but you know his price is 17% higher than Mark and Sons. So now we haven't worked with Mark and Sons before. I don't think we have, but we typically deal with like Ballards, but they seem capable. And so I make a recommendation that we go with that one. It'll, you know, save us, you know, good $18,000. Lucas is inquiring, there would, and I would ask for council approval for this, a $1,000 5-year warranty. Because with the way things have been breaking down, I think 5 years is a good warranty to have for an extra $1,000, bring us up closer to 40,000.
I think we should move forward with this.
Good. I'll make a motion, we accept Mark and Sons bid at $38,458 and add $1,000 for the extended warranty.
I'll second that.
Okay, John Leo,
Yes.
Don Cox,
Yes.
Matt O'Gara,
Yes.
Nancy Rondell,
Yeah.
Mal Dyke,
Yes.
motion carried.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda is city manager report. A few things here. Well, we did the Easter egg hunt, but city spring brush and leaf cleanup begins today, lasts through early June. Did it begin today?
I don't, it isn't snow.
In the snow, yeah. We're gonna host 2 informational meetings on Headley on May 4th and May 18th here at City Hall. It'll be at 6 p.m. So pass the word on. Also, something I didn't include there. I don't know if some of you may have read an article in the Channel 9 and 10 News about MDOT is seeking, you know, to acquire some city property to do a culvert under M119. That city property, Lucas has been talking with them for several years now. It's just outside the city limits on M119, but it's property that we own. And they need, in order to build a culvert, they need to do some tree clearing on our property, but they have never asked us yet for permission. They've talked informally with Lucas. The article made it seem like it's a done deal, but MDOT is holding a public comment informational meeting on April 27th. And Lucas will attend that, and then we'll have some more conversations with MDOT about that. But essentially, they might need to reroute the bike trail on some of the school property. They might need to do some tree clearing on our property. So, yeah, so I'll be in touch when I have more details about that. But it's been ongoing discussions for a while now.
Are we doing the creek?
Yes.
Up there?
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Should have let you go.
Yeah. We did have a few meetings. Zoning board met very quickly to approve minutes and decision orders from the previous meeting. Downtown Development Authority talked about the Main Street tree bed gardens, downtown lighting project, the Merchants Walkway. The tree board meeting was rescheduled to April 22nd. We had it for April 15th, but I neglected the fact that April 15th was a city holiday and City Hall was closed. So we moved that to April 22nd. I had a couple MPPA meetings and I also met with the Harbor Springs library director. They obviously heard that we were, canceling our contract with Alliance and they just wanted to let me know that, hey, we're here, how can we collaborate and work together? So that's what I have. The next one is the appointment of boards and commission members. So we have 3 openings, 1 on the DDA and 2 on the ZBA. And coincidentally, we have 3 applicants. We have Rachel Morford for the DDA. The DDA is a mayoral appointment. And then we have 2 applicants for the zoning board of appeals, Kathy Macho, who's here right now. She originally applied for the tree board, but we kind of convinced her that zoning board is more exciting. And then Sue Stewart, and she applied about a week and a half ago for the zoning board. And they would be serving as alternates, but alternates attend the meetings and they just don't vote. But they may vote if one recuses themselves. So I make a recommendation because that's, and they're great candidates. So
Yeah, they'd be good additions.
I think
I'll make a motion to appoint them all.
Right. Second.
He's got ahead of me a little bit here.
Blanket coverage.
Okay. Matt Bogira,
Yes.
John Cops,
Yes.
Nancy Rondell,
Yes.
John Leo,
Yes.
and Al Micah.
Yes.
Motion carried. That's a wrap.
we have city council and new business.
That's a wrap for appointments.
Yeah. Any new or old business today?
I would just like to bring up something we kicked around for a long time, which is short-term rentals. And I don't see the pressure getting any less, but I see the community getting more and more upset about it. So I would like to council to take some kind of action to stop them. Just no more. I think that's what most of the people that live in town would like. I think it preserves the integrity of neighborhoods. And just letting it lie like we have for so long is not. I think we should address it, deal with it. Take the lead. So we don't need to beat this up tonight, but I think we should discuss this and move on with it, get it done.
Should I make that an agenda item? Next meeting.
We're probably gonna talk about it at planning commission.
I was just gonna say, isn't this on the schedule for the planning commission to dig into?
Yeah, yes, planning commission has that on our radar. Al's bringing forward, accelerating the discussion, and we can kick it around and have a public meeting and another public information session, get people's input and bring it back, or council could decide to just take action. I think it's going to take a little bit of more than a little bit of crafting to figure out how to, if we want to take any additional action on short-term rentals, how to develop wording that will stand up under various challenges and that kind of thing. So it is on our agenda. I had thought that it being a pretty hot issue, we would need some good community input. And we might want to do that during the summer when we have more property owners in town. But I would say maybe let us work on, for another meeting or two and try to craft something that you can act on or not act on. I think we have the ability to round up something that's actionable and something that's a good tight package for you to consider.
Does anybody know where the bill is in the house or
It's not moving.
it's just sitting there?
In Lansing.
Lansing, yeah, thanks.
That shirt up meters.
I think it's a good idea. I mean,
Right.
I
planning is
agree, we
where,
need to address
yeah, first lights, I think that's good.
Yeah, certainly keep doing these little Band-Aid fixes. Need to come up with a final plan.
And as far as new business, it's probably gonna come up in late May, early June. Nick and I are gonna come to council with suggested uses for our ARPA money. That $126,000 that we received from, again, it's gonna be some sort of infrastructure project that's the best use for it. And then talk about funding options and location for the electrical substation. We're gonna start that process so we can have that figured out by the end of the summer. And we do have some good locations that are near the center of the load, but that aren't necessarily in this downtown vicinity. So we have some options, but it'll be a council choice, obviously, where I think we have 3 locations that would be really fit really well. But from a use standpoint, but as far as all the other issues, council need to make up their minds on, where we want this substation to be located. And then funding options, of course, when it comes to bonding. So Nick and I are gonna present, just start the process, give the overlay of what's going on, and then you guys can then help us narrow us get us on the path you want us to go with funding and locations. So be prepared for that discussion.
Anything else from the table?
Not from me.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Good job.